So Juneen, you were talking earlier about things that you've seen that have gone well in terms of data and analytics by some of the leaders. And then you also kind of identified some of the gaps and things that are still not quite being done. As you look out more toward the future, and if you are kind of talking with folks who really want to be leaders and how they're leveraging data and analytics to create kind of tailored products, what would you encourage them to do?
I think there are a few activities that can happen in parallel. One is really looking at where you want to prioritize, which segments of customers are really your priority, which interactions are your priority, where do you need the most insight to be brought to drive the kinds of experiences that bring new sales or retain customers. So that's one, understanding that, really that priority. Another is setting up a culture that allows you to understand the value of data, analytics, insight, how it can transform the way an organization will work, developing pilots that allow you some quick wins and allow you to really test what can you do in terms of more advanced analytics, whether that's deploying early learning AI chatbots and experimenting with those internally to see how they can drive change, or it's more data lake driven testing and deeper analytics. So it's that test and learn environment that helps the organization both get some insight as well as develop the cultural strength to understand the power of data. And then the third, I think, is really around shoring up your foundation. So understanding what is the type of architecture that's required to bring you into the future, the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. How do you develop the kind of governance around that data that can support people understanding the quality and making sure the data is true quality that can be used, and how do you develop the integration architecture that will really bring that data to the point that it is most relevant for your employees and for your external customers to be able to leverage.
One quick follow-up to that is insurance companies normally have a ton of data. To do some of the things that you've talked about, is there a need to bring in more external data or to access third-party data to really kind of drive that?
Absolutely, and I think that's a place where carriers are spending a lot of time trying to bring in the right sorts of third-party data, understanding the value of it, how much can they really pay for it, how do they bring it into their own systems and their own processes. I think that the more that you can get, whether it's social media data that you can learn about a customer, whether it's from more standard sources that are embedded into your predictive analytics. There is a wealth of data out there, and there's really a discipline and a team and a whole operating model that has to be set up around how do you identify the right kind of data, how do you bring it into your environment in a way that you can test it quickly, understand the value of it, and then contract to bring it in a really hardy way, and then build it into your operational processes long term. So there are a lot of capabilities that are required to be nimble at knowing what's out there and bringing it into your environment and making it readily available.